Hi, my name is Debbie Kravitsky. I'm a clinical dietitian here at Mass General Hospital's Cardiovascular Disease Prevention Center. Today, we're going to go shopping. It's really important to make sure before you head to the supermarket that you make a list, that you really want to pre-plan. Your goal, particularly at this time, is to limit how many trips you're making to the market or how many times you're ordering if you're ordering your food. Then this would be a great chance for you to really hone the skill of pre-planning. And it's not unreasonable for you to be able to buy a week's worth of food at one time. So think about what is it that you're going to be making. And if everybody in the house could gather together, you could look at recipes together as you're thinking about meals that you're going to have. And then if you all agree on certain recipes, take a look at that recipe and go through each ingredient and check and see in your house if you have those ingredients or not. Because you don't want to get home and say, oh, I thought we had lemons or I thought we had garlic. And then you'd have to go back to that market, which is just what you're trying to avoid. So go armed with a list. Also remember that the point of you going to this market is to set yourself up for success at home. You say once no in a supermarket, you save yourself many no's once you get home. So let's look at the layout of the market, and then I'm going to show you the new supermarkets. And think about the super Stop and Shops, the superstar markets. Let's take a look at those because that's where we're at. We start by knowing how we got there. When you think of your market, think about the layout of the market because this is big business. Typically, when you first enter a market, the first department you hit is the produce section. Many people, including myself, ascribe a halo effect to the market based on this produce section. So if I see mold around the strawberries, wilty looking vegetables, I'll say forget it. I'm not on the same page as them. I'm out of here. They know that's how they're being judged. If you can't find help in a market, always go to the produce section because there's always people swapping things in and out. Here is where I want you to spend the most time. Eat the rainbow. Vary the colors of your fruit. Vary the colors of your vegetables. They'll give you different antioxidants that are protective. And have fun experimenting with different vegetables and different squashes, like spaghetti squash. I don't know if any of you have tried spaghetti squash. Looks like a yellow football, but when you cook it, it comes out like angel hair pasta. Great substitute for pasta. There's also a soy section in the produce section, and there are some great products such as shirataki tofu noodles or soy substitutes for pasta that are much, much lower in calories. There's also tofu itself. As you go around the market, you're going to find that the dairy is in the back of the market. Intentional by design. Most people go to the market in the middle of the week because they forget milk. So this way you have to go through all these aisles and picking up these things that you didn't realize you, quote, needed. And hasn't this happened to all of us? We go to check out and we say, oh my gosh, I only came in for, and yet now you have a whole cart. They gotcha. And so intentional by design is you have to go through the market to get to the back where the dairy is. There also, the longer you're there, the more likely you are to pick up these extra items. So they'll put the yogurt at one end, they'll put the milk at the other. They want you to scan and fill your cart. While you're in this dairy section, there are some great products. I'm going to show some of them to you now. Here is some of my cheeses and yogurts that I love. I love the Dannon Light and Fit Greek 80 because it's 80 calories, 0 fat, sweetened with Splenda. Dannon has actually 3 Greek yogurts. I like Greek yogurts because they have more protein. And they have a Greek Oikos, which is sweetened with stevia. They also have Greek Zero, which is no artificial sweetener. My gold standard for yogurt is the Fage Zero. You'll see 0%. That's what you're looking for. I love it because it has the most protein when we look at the label. It's very rich, creamy, and satisfying. It tastes like sour cream. So some people eat Fage by itself because it's rich, it's thick, creamy, and satisfying. Other people eat it with berries and cream. Others will add Splenda and vanilla extract to make it sweet. And yet others will add garlic and chives and use it as a topping for a baked potato. Anywhere you'd have sour cream, you can substitute equal amounts of Fage Zero. I had a patient who every Thanksgiving he made a dip. This year, because of his heart event, he made his own dip using Fage. When his guests came in, they started to eat his dip. And he said, "What are you people doing? Get out of there, that's mine." But they actually liked it better than his traditional dip. So Fage is a great addition, a great substitute for sour cream, and I recommend that you try it. For cheeses, I love the Laughing Cow cheese. It comes in a variety of flavors. Choose the one you like. I love garlic and herb. My husband likes a spicy pepper jack, but there's a mozzarella and basil. There's a cheddar, a Swiss, an Asiago, whatever you like. I also love the Baby Bell light cheese. Just make sure that you get the light. The regular and light look identical. Make sure it says light. This is a thick round. It's great to take this cheese, turn it on its side, cut it into thinner rounds so it will melt more evenly. It makes a tremendously delicious grilled cheese sandwich. It's also great to take whole wheat pizza dough and use this as like mozzarella. It makes delicious pizza. So these are great cheeses. Kraft American cheese is another choice that you can use. And there are some cheese sticks. Remember, your mantra, read it before you eat it. Check the label. You're looking for no more than 2 grams of saturated fat in a serving. There are low-fat cheeses, low-fat milks, like just skim milk. Now, you may consider to buy your milk organic. The reason why we would buy organic milk is because if you're concerned about the residue from the pesticide in the feed. If, however, you can't afford it, I'd still rather you have milk and not get the organic. If you're used to drinking 2% or whole milk, and I would recommend that you have no more than 1% milk, then try Simply Smart by Hood or Over the Moon by Gorelick. These companies took the water out of their milk. It's now thicker. So if I blindfolded you and gave you their skim milk, you'd say, "Deb, that's 1 or 2%. And if I gave you their 1%, you'd say, "Deb, it's 2%. Actually, I might be drinking whole milk." So you won't need to sacrifice taste, but you don't need to clog your arteries either. So either Simply Smart by Hood, Over the Moon by Gorelick. These are 2 good choices for you. There are many milks on the market. Make sure you read the label. If you are lactose intolerant, you could try Lactaid, or you could try a soy milk. And also consider Fairlife milk. It's double pasteurized, has a little bit more protein than the others. So take a look. There are many choices in this dairy section that would be great for you. There's an aerosol light whipped cream that works. There are some low-fat, no added salt cottage cheeses that are also good choices. So take the time and read the label so that you get what you want. The most profitable section in the market is the meats, and that's why they are in the back. And remember that red meat is a grouping. It includes pork. So if it includes pork, it includes the hot dogs and the bacon, sausage and ham. It also includes lamb and veal, steak, hamburger, and roast beef. Limit your intake of red meat to no more than once a week, twice is that rare occasion, and make sure it's lean and low in sodium. So remember the words loin and round. It's a sirloin steak, a tenderloin steak. It's a filet, a flank steak, top or bottom round. It's not prime rib, nor is it ribeye. They're just too fatty a cut. Hamburger should be 93 to 99% lean. If you're buying ground turkey in a supermarket, keep in mind that if it just says ground turkey, it's going to include skin, tendons, who knows what. It has to say ground chicken or ground turkey, 93 to 99% lean. Now, ground turkey and ground chicken are not part of this red meat grouping. I also want to have an opportunity to take advantage of this time by getting on my soapbox for a minute. Always want to ask yourself, who controls your food supply? To answer that question, you have to ask yourself, well, what runs companies? And what runs companies? Profit, of course, and also politics. And our political process starts in Iowa. That's where the caucus is. So what do they grow in Iowa? Corn. What gets subsidized? Lo and behold, corn. If you can think back 30 years. 30 years ago, we spent a lot on food. We spent a little bit on health care. I don't know about in your house, but in my house, we didn't get red meat very often. It was expensive. We actually used to get it maybe once a week. A steak looked like this. It didn't look like this. Flash forward to today, you've got to flip it. Today, we spend a little on food. We spend a lot on health care. Don't you have to ask yourself, if you go through a drive-through of a McDonald's, how in the heck can they have a cheeseburger on their dollar menu? And when you go to the supermarket and you see chicken breasts and they're ginormous for really not a lot of money, how'd that happen? Well, Well, the answer is they take these animals, they inject them with hormones and antibiotics so they grow bigger, faster, quicker, cheaper. That's great to feed more people, but here's the problem. Their bones don't grow at the same rate as their newfound weight. So they can't go out and exercise and graze and get lean and graze on grass. Weight, not a problem at all. We have a surplus of corn. So they feed them the corn. Now you're eating bigger cuts because it's cheaper. You're eating fattier cuts, and you're getting fatter yourself. You're also ingesting these hormones and antibiotics. So you're getting sicker and resistant to diseases that are going up and up and up the ladder. So my suggestion, if you're going to have meats, make sure they're hormone-free, antibiotic-free, and grass, not corn-fed. It's also important, it will be labeled, by the way, as such in the case. It will be about $1 more a pound, but I want you to eat less. It will come out in the wash. As a side note, if your poultry company is touting that it's hormone-free, that's sort of fake advertising. All poultry in this country by FDA rule is hormone-free. It still should be antibiotic-free and free-range grass-fed. Take a look. When you want to take a look at the labeling here, it's very specific and I think a little tricky and maybe a little misleading. If you buy something that is organic, it has to say 100% organic. If it isn't, it just isn't. If it's organic, it means 90% is, but the rest is not. So make sure you take a look at the labeling. Get to know your market. At my Whole Foods, for example, would you think that it'd be a better way to get the meats if you went to the person behind the case or if you got in those plastic sealed containers on the side? Well, nothing in that case is 100% organic. For that, you need to go to the sealed packages. So get to know your market and where these foods are in your market so that you're getting exactly what you think you're getting. As we round the market, you'll find there is a deli section. Get the low sodium variety of anything there. And also note that if you're including London broil or ham or roast beef, this will be part of your once a week red meat time. If there's a seafood section in your market, I always ask when delivery is. I want my fish fresh. But this is how you would have shopped. 80% would be the periphery of the market. 20% would be the middle where the crackers and the pasta and the cereals are and so on. Now take that model and throw it right out the window. And welcome to the new age of supermarkets, the supermarket. The new supermarkets have their own design, which is intentional by design, no design. So when I go to my Shaw's at Chestnut Hill, I take an elevator up and it lands me in the floral department, which is next to the produce, which is next to some prepared foods, which is next to who knows, keep going, but no rhyme or reason, which means if I want to find something in this market, I need to go up and down every aisle. Intentional by design is no design, because the longer I'm there, the more likely I am to fill that cart. Smart thinking, don't you think? Frustrating for a consumer, however. You may have noticed in your market that they've changed the layout of your market. They don't want you very quickly to get in and out. They need you to slow down so you can fill that cart. Pretty stunning. Also, don't miss out on small companies who can't afford the prime real estate in a supermarket, which is eye-level shelf space. Make sure you look a little above and a little below for smaller companies who can't afford that shelf space. What's interesting is sodas get that kind of shelf space because of their popularity, even though sodas in a market are the least profitable. But if you're going to compare products, you want to see if you're getting a good deal or not, make sure you look at the unit tab. That will give you the most accurate comparison of prices. Also keep in mind that you might see a sign in the market that says limit 4. People who previously had no intentions of buying that item, we now do because we hate to miss out on a good deal. We're human. So know that if it's not on your list, you shouldn't get it, and that supermarkets tend to repeat these sales every 3 weeks, so you're good to go. Oftentimes, even though I have a list, I love a party. I sometimes get caught up in the fun and the excitement and the thrill of a market. So oftentimes I'll call home where I know my son will get me back on the right track. He's in a calm environment and he's very disciplined, and I'll say to him, "This is on sale, should I buy it?" And he'll say, "No, why?" And he's totally right. Remember, the reason why you're at that market is to set yourself up for success at home. You say once no in the market, you save yourself hundreds of no's at home. So stay with your list. Now, while you're going to go to the market, let me show you some of my favorite picks in the market. One of them is I love foods that are easy. So I want you to have protein with every meal. I also want you to increase perhaps your intake of fish. This is Safe Catch. They claim that they are so particular about the fish that they include, that they are the lowest in mercury. They come in cans. They come also in these drained packets. So all I have to do is open it. It stays room temperature. You can see it's thin. It doesn't take up a lot of space. Safe Catch comes both with salmon as well as tuna, and it's a great tasting fish that's lower in mercury than the other brands. So Safe Catch is a great way to include protein. For whole grain crackers, there are many. These are Crunchmaster. Crunchmaster are made from brown rice, which means that they're gluten-free. Brown rice is gluten-free, but brown rice is also a whole grain. So this is found in the gluten-free section of your market. And when you turn it over, remember brown rice is a whole grain? And here is that whole grain stamp that will show you how many grams of whole grain that you get from this. And so it is also, even though it's low in fiber, it's high for whole grain. And they come in a variety of flavors. I happen to like the original. This is a delicious cracker by Crunchmaster, found in the whole grain section of your market, the gluten-free section, of your market. Late July is the company that makes Cape Cod potato chips. This is a whole corn tortilla. When we read the label, we see that it was made from whole corn, and we see that, there you go, there's that stamp again, the Whole Wheat Council stamp, which will tell you how many grams of whole grain that you'll get. These are delicious, so I totally encourage, if you're gonna get a tortilla chip, Late July is one of many that are out there that are good choices for you. As you're getting whole grains, a very easy and delicious way to have whole grains is to include whole corn or popcorn. So buy the plain kernels either in a jar like this or in a bag. I know Trader Joe's, all of these places sell whole kernels in a bag as well as a jar. And then get yourself a package of brown paper lunch bag. All you need to do is open the lunch bag and pour the kernels in, just enough to barely cover the bottom. You don't want to do more than one layer because they're going to burn. So I didn't do the whole layer, but you can see, you're good. Here you go. You're going to get just a scant layer. If you do more than one layer, they burn. Then take your bag, and what you're going to do is you're just going to fold it twice. Here's one. Here's two. And put it in your microwave. It's going to pop up in the bag, those kernels, without any fat. Now, don't walk away, because if it slows down, you want to take it out, it'll burn. Take it out, and now you have a whole grain, high fiber, fat-free snack. If you'd like, you can use spray butter, and spray butter will flavor it. And if you're looking to gain weight, melt some margarine, and you could use that. Good margarines, things like I Can't Believe It's Not Butter, Take Control by Promise, Country Crock, Smart Balance. These are great. Make sure you read the label to make sure there's no more than 2 grams of saturated fat in your serving. Other crackers are thin stackers. These are available at Whole Foods. Great serving for whole grain. They are big crackers. They're made from brown rice, so they are whole grain. And you can see that they're good-sized crackers for about 25 calories each. As they're made from brown rice, they're also gluten-free. So great for everybody and very good tasting. I love these with the Laughing Cow cheese. I also love them with a low-cal peanut butter, the powdered peanut butter, such as PB2, but there are many powdered peanut butters out there. You also could use a regular peanut butter like Teddy's, or and that would be fine. It just will give you a few more calories. People ask me when it comes, I get a lot of questions about carbs. That's why I'm showing you a lot of alternative choices. People often ask me about pasta. I love whole wheat pastas, a great whole wheat pasta. There are many, but one is Delalo, but there are many out there. Always check the label. Delalo is available at Wegmans as well as Shaw's. And it's a delicious whole wheat pasta. It doesn't really taste like whole wheat, and that's what many people are looking for. Once we tried this, we never went back, but there are many whole wheat pastas that you can choose from. There's also alternatives to pasta. This is made from hearts of palm. This one is available at Trader Joe's. That's their hearts of palm pasta. But you can also get, for example, on Amazon, palmini, which is another one. And they're made from hearts of palm. They taste delicious. And instead of a couple of 100 calories, you go down to 20. If I ate the entire box, you're going to see that it's only 60 calories for the box. So it's a great lower calorie, lower carb alternative to pasta. You also can use as a substitute for pasta the spiralized noodles. I love the zucchini noodles, and I use those to make great pasta. I also use the summer squash noodles to make a sort of like a mac and cheese. I love pizza. I don't know about any of you, but I love pizza. So get a whole wheat crust, and then you could use any of the pizza sauces. This one is by Rayo's. It happens to be low in sodium, so it's not a low sodium pizza sauce, but when we look at the label, you'll see it is low in sodium, and I think it tastes delicious. But there are many out there. Use any of the brands that fit the bill. It's a great way to have pizza, and then you could use the Baby Bell light cheese, and you are good to go. People often ask me about cookies and sweets and things that you can have. So I love Irene's biscotti. Irene's biscotti is available at Shaw's, at Whole Foods, Roach Brothers, and Wegmans. And they come in a variety of flavors. So they come in cranberry, this is the raisin, there's a chocolate almond, a vanilla pistachio, whatever you like. They're 20 calories each. Sometimes you just need that crunch and that sweet. Irene's biscotti will take you through. I also want you to be mindful of labeling when you're reading these labels. Keep in mind that we talked about the organic. Let me go through it a little bit more. When a product says that it is free range, it doesn't mean that they go. It means they have access to it. So it's better than not, but you have no idea, did they go once a week, every full moon? You don't know, but at least it's better that they do. So look for free range. Also keep in mind that if it says all natural, that there is no definition, there's no legal definition in the food labeling for this word natural. I work really hard to look natural. It took me about an hour and a half this morning. So don't be fooled by the word natural. If I was going to market a food, I would use two words. I would use natural and I would use artisan, because first of all, natural you're going to love and you're going to want to pay more and I'm going to charge you more. And also the word artisan, you're going to conjure up these images of people wearing conical hats in the field. And I'm not bound by any legal definition. So don't be fooled by the words natural and artisan. They don't mean anything. They have no legal bearing in this in the food labeling. Knowing how to read the food label, knowing which foods will fit your bill in the market will let you very efficiently get in and get out, particularly at this time. So make sure before you leave that you check all the ingredients at home, that you've pre-planned your meals, and that if one tip is to make your list by departments, because that will let you very efficiently get in and get out. If you put everything you need under dairy, under meats, under cereals and crackers, then you'll know when you leave each section of the market if you got everything you need. And you'll know you set yourself up for success.